Hello, this is John Sims with the Avaya Serviceability Engineering Team. This video will cover Avaya B5800 Branch Gateway User Management from Avaya Aura System Manager. Starting in 6.2, System Manager will now fully control user management for synchronized distributed B5800 branches. When you use a B5800 Branch Gateway device through System Manager locks the device from external access, effectively forcing centralized change control and user management. When using Manager application launched via System Manager, you'll find that user management screens are view only. And I'll cover all this in this video today of how we will use user manager pages in System Manager to actually build and control users on distributed B5800 branch gateways. So here we are on a landing page of an Avaya Aura 6.2 system. And let's say we want to manage a B5800 branch gateway. So you're used to going to B5800 branch gateway elements, system configuration, and let's pick on Sims B5800 branch gateway and select edit. And you'll see that the Java pass-through occurs and it launches the manager client that you have installed on your PC. And you'll pull up a system configuration into the manager client, as you see happening here real time on the video. Now if we head to user in the configuration tree, as you see me doing, you still retain some control of the remote manager user and the no user. Remote manager lets you make some changes to it like password functionality, but you see we're grayed out to create a new user or delete a user, and if I right click in the panel I cannot add a new user from this manager client at this time. Under no user, I do want to point out you can still control source numbers, and that's for the system. But again, we do not have traditional user control, user management control in the manager client. And there's a reason for this. It's because of centralized control of B5800 users now from System Manager. And there's a point I want to make as you've seen me head here to the inventory pages to B5800 synchronization. You have a system config and you also have users that synchronize, and system configuration and users. So they're synchronized between System Manager and the B5800, not only the system configuration, but all of the users for each B5800 branch gateway device. So how does one manage users? Well, we go to user management pages on System Manager and of course into manage users, and you'll see me now. I'll create a new user. I'll create myself on this System Manager and assign myself to the Sims B5800 branch gateway. So you see me adding in my last name, first name, description, login name, and I'll choose the proper domain and I'll give it a password. And remember, this password combination pair is for actually logging into System Manager and managing your communication profile, but it is required. And then language preference, you'll see where I select English United States, and then I give myself an Eastern time zone that I happen to be in. Now you don't have to do anything for address or localized names, and I'll select commit and continue. Now under the communication profile, you do not have to add a password and you do not have to add a communication address that you normally would for SIP or E164 or even for presence. None of that is necessary. In fact, for B5800 we're simply going to scroll down and select the B5800 Branch Gateway Endpoint Profile section. And it's from there we'll select our B5800 system. You see I selected my Sims B5800. And I'll show you them once again. We have all these B5800s managed by System Manager, so I'll select the one I need to add a user to, and I'll use existing extension, which, because this is in sync with the B5800, it knows the available extensions. I'm going to pause the video right here and point something out. Because of the sync, it knew that extension 210 was available. It also knows that on this B5800 the set type is digital. It will know the set type, so you have to choose your template appropriately. Now you're going to see me switch this to HD23 to make a point that it's not quite a match. So as I mentioned, I'm going to change this template to HD23, which will change the set type to HD23. And then I'm going to head into Endpoint Editor. Now what that'll do is that's going to launch an endpoint template form of the manager client. And you see that coming up for this user and this user's assigned extension. So in the extension template, you see for this user the device type is actually a digital handset or endpoint and not an H323 endpoint. So I'm back on my manage user screen, and I'm going to head back down, scroll down again. I'm going to make the change now, and again 210 is a digital and it's reporting it as digital, as you see me clicking there. So I'm going to make the appropriate change to the template. Now just a point, if I were to try to force this as an H323, it would error out and tell you to adjust it. So now for good housekeeping, we're going to check delete extension on user delete. And I'm going to head back into Endpoint Editor now to show you the full use of the Endpoint Editor. So that again is going to launch Manager under template mode. So you only have control of this one user and this one assigned extension. So you see here under device type that it's a unknown digital handset, and then you see here we can make changes if we wanted to things like button programming or adjust your forwarding or telephony. So I'm just scrolling through some tabs, or add in short codes or make some user profile settings. So these are some of the things you can adjust. Now I won't make any adjustments now, I'll just exit out. But again, that's how you can, per user or per template, make adjustments using the Endpoint Editor. So now it's time to commit all of these changes to this user, and I've successfully added a user now to this B5800 Branch Gateway, which is controlled and managed from System Manager, and it's also stored in the System Manager database as well. So you see I've hit commit. It took a while for System Manager to respond as it's making all its changes in the database, and there I am, John Sims, and you see my login name. So now that we've made this user, let's scroll up and delete this user. So I'm going to scroll back up on the page. I have myself selected, and I'll select delete. And it'll ask me to confirm that I want to delete the John Sims account I just created, and I delete the account. Now I want to show you something that can happen if you go flying back into a B5800 Branch Gateway system configuration. So I'll go to the B5800 and select it under System Configuration, select Edit. Again, it's going to launch the Manager application and pull up the configuration. So here I have a configuration. I'll head to User in the tree, and you'll see that my John Sims account still exists. Now how can that be so? We just deleted it out of System Manager. Why does it still exist on this B5800? Well, just a little teaching point, and I'll exit and we'll go back to System Manager. So back under User Management, under More Actions, there's actually something called a soft delete of users. So if I head to More Actions, Show Deleted Users, System Manager wants to make sure you're really sure you want to delete users. So at first it stores it in this limbo state, which is called a soft delete, where it's still in the database and still has a record. So I'll go ahead and fully delete. Now this is a permanent delete, as it says there. Do you want to permanently delete the entries? And I'll select yes. And then we can click the button to go back to show regular users. So now we'll go back and we'll re-pull, as you see me here under System Configuration of B5800 Branch Gateway. I'll pull a configuration again into the Manager client, and we'll see if that user still exists. So what we proved before was the manager was created and pushed to the B5800, and then even though we first deleted it through System Manager, it was only a soft delete. We had to go in and fully delete the user. Now if I go to my user in the tree configuration, we're back to just two users, Remote Manager and no user, and the user has been successfully deleted, ending our demonstration. Thank you for your time today. We welcome comments, questions, and feedback at mentor@avaya.com or on Twitter @AvayaMentor. For more details or related information, please visit support.avaya.com. Thank you for choosing Avaya.